This is Chicago. It's a nuclear-powered city. My name is Scott Medwid. I used to oppose nuclear power. I used to volunteer my time working with Greenpeace. I got this car about 8 years ago. This blue line here is the fuel line for the grease.
So why do you do this?
Well, it's not fossil fuel. That's the beauty of it for me. Studying up the nuclear industry so I could fight it, I was concerned that the anti-nuclear activists weren't using facts. And the more and more I learned about reactors and the safety records and also the history of the accidents, I became convinced that this is the power generation for the future. It's what we need to power the planet. It's what we need to stop burning fossil fuels. And it's what we need to take everyone planet-wide into prosperity. The thing I liked about Star Trek was that it gave you hope that there was going to be a positive future, because it was taking place 300 years in the future. And I mean, at the time there were race riots that were going on in my town of Cleveland, and and there was all kind of strife and pollution. And here you had this civilization that had spread onto other planets. Federation territory was really healthy. It was really good. It was vibrant. It was exciting, and they were pretty much at peace.
Do you inherently become a better society just because you have access to a more advanced form of energy?
I've read some of Gene Roddenberry's writings and some of the other writers and their feelings when they were doing the show. It was going to be a clean energy future. And I mean, yeah, they were talking about dilithium crystals and warp drive for the starships, but basically it was a nuclear-powered society. And that's how we were able to become peaceful and live with each other and be able to use abundant energy to develop a civilization. This is what we need to see all across the planet by accepting advanced reactors.
Nuclear proponents, renewable energy proponents, why are they not seeing eye to eye on energy? You were very keen on wind and solar. Wind turbines are beautiful. Wind and solar cannot power Chicago. However it works best to get energy to people that need it, I'm all for that. But to have an established industrial first world infrastructure, it doesn't work. This city here is powered 70% by nuclear power, by its nuclear power reactors. The state of Illinois is powered by 50% nuclear power. Tell me some stories about your involvement in the green movement, or what would you call it?
It was the environmental justice movement specifically, and the environmental justice movement that coalesced around the Citizens Clearinghouse for Hazardous Waste, and some of the people that had been involved in the Love Canal toxic waste issue and everything. They were some of the first people that were starting to deal with government industry to get some, cleanup, and there were some good things that happened out of that. You had the Superfund law got passed, and then you also had the Toxic Substances Control Act that called for proper controls of and disposal of hazardous waste and toxic waste. This company tried to site a very large toxic waste incinerator in August of 1987, and they said, this is going to be great, it's going to provide jobs, and we're going to take all the ash from the toxic waste incineration, and we're going to put it in these very safe above-ground vaults, which are basically landfills above ground. And fantastic engineering in the whole system and everything. And they were going to use these rotary kilns that were going to be powered by natural gas, and the site had a natural gas line right next to it. It had grid electric. There were high tension transmission lines. It was a fantastic site for them, no doubt about it. And it was away from population centers, and so it would have been where you wanted to burn toxic waste to permanently dispose of it.
And you went all NIMBY on their ass.
And we went all NIMBY on their ass, exactly, because we didn't want a toxic waste incinerator in our area.
Today, looking back, do you think you were doing the right thing fighting it, or?
Man, sometimes I think that the vigor that we attacked industrial chemical incineration and disposal industry may have led to some of the deindustrialization of the United States of America. I mean, there were a lot of companies that were looking to dispose of their industrial waste at our incinerator that never got built and other incinerators, and that some of them that never got built either. And the companies moved offshore. They closed up and they went overseas, and factories were closed down. So it's, yeah, I feel responsible for that. I personally feel responsible for that, and I played a part in it. We fought for 5 years. I mean, we beat the hell out of our governor and our state legislators, and we got some laws passed to ban incinerators, and we stuck it to IT. We fought them continent-wide. They could not try to site, and they wanted to site this incinerator somewhere in North America. And we got so good with the packet of information that we would send, and the network grew. One of the things that our group did was to help coalesce Greenpeace and Citizens Clearinghouse coming together in a conference in our town. Really coalesced the TEAC6 movement of the early 90s, and we freaking shut them down. We shut down the industry. And
are you sure you want an industry that's going to produce toxic waste?
Ideally, a company will look at their manufacturing and try to eliminate waste. When they do produce toxic wastes from manufacturing products, for products that we all want and want to use, it should be treated properly. And frankly, high temperature incineration is a fantastic way to deal with it. So,
like, do you think you guys were being dishonest when you campaigned against it, or do you think you were just focused on a small problem and ignored some other problems?
One of the things that we campaigned for was reduce, reuse, recycle. So there was a lot of waste at the time in manufacturing, no doubt about it. So, and we wanted that addressed first before they put an incinerator in Sullivan, Ohio.
No one's going to want an incinerator next to them. No one's going to want probably a nuclear power plant right next to them. Like, would you want a nuclear power plant right next to you?
I think about people that I know that lived on submarine reactors in the Navy, and they lived right next to those machines. Yeah, I would live next to a good reactor.
Do you think a lot of the environmentalists are okay with the notion of deindustrializing?
I think so. I think there's a strain in the environment community, and you can go to ecological journalism magazines, and look and read what the comments that people post on articles that are posted. And there's definitely a strain of, back to the land, grow your own food, make your own energy, homeschool your kids, pull away from society. Yeah, there is that.
Do you know anyone in Germany?
I do know some people in Germany.
What's their take on what's happening in Germany?
They're not happy with the coal. Because when the nuclear plants got shut down, they started burning more coal, and also the electrical prices went up, and they've had some distribution problems. I have an associate he's an American. He's been living over there for a while. The price of energy for business is going up, and they're thinking about moving.
But what would you say we should be doing right now?
Wind and solar on the edges, and I'd say, go nuclear, go advanced reactors. I mean, I would like to see the integral fast reactors come online, but I really want to see the molten salt reactors. That, a slow neutron reactor, that just seems to make so much sense to me. The fact that you don't have to worry about a meltdown for your solid fuel because your fuel's already liquid. It just, you know, and I know people fret about the chemistry and, you know, and some of the technical challenges, but it's like, man, let's go do it. Let's go be like China. Let's be bold like China. Part of my studying up on the nuclear industry and the nuclear history, so I could fight it, was I started reading some of the old papers and some of the old letters and documents and scientific papers and speeches, like Glenn Seaborg's speeches in the 60s when he was chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission. I mean, he was so hopeful for the future because of these advanced reactors providing not only electricity but heat for desalination and heat for, you know, for industrial processes. So it was a missed opportunity.
In 400 feet, merge onto I-19 East. You will arrive in
We've arrived at a point in our evolution, in human evolution, where we could, if we choose, have everyone living at a high energy
It'll be the next one, possibly.
consumption level. We could have electric cars that you could, you know, program. I want to, take me to, Terminal 3
There it is.
at the airport, and then we could have a proper conversation and not have to worry about, missing stuff.
You want to give a clap? Or, oh, you're turning off the car. That's
Yeah.
fine. Okay, thanks.
There's those.
Thanks for putting up with my...
Oh,